Let's all go to the game shop. Let's all go to the game shop. Let's all go to the game shop and buy ourselves some tabletop role-playing game swag. What's up, my waterlogged Christmas reindeer? It is I, your favorite Grinch, the OGGM, coming to you live, as always, from the lovely beach town of Ventura, California, where we are trapped under what is known as a aerial flood. Aerial flood, which still sounds like a porn star. I'm sorry. And I'm under a flash flood possible evacuation warning. Because, as I've mentioned before, where my lovely little home that I didn't want is located is right in the center of the floodplains. So if the dam breaks, yeah, right here, bam. No wonder the land was so cheap. It's Wednesday. It's our last chance to do this. It's time to head on down to your friendly local game store, if you happen to have one, and take a look at all the new possible things to get for the tabletop role-playing game friend in your life. But because shipping is still a thing, call ahead first and make sure they have it in stock and they can put it on hold for you. I assure you, it makes those of us who work in retail's lives so much easier if you can just take the 5 extra seconds to have the wherewithal to call ahead and go, yeah, you got that latest book by the OGGM in stock? And if they say, well, yes, we do. You can say, can you put that on hold for me? I'll be there like an hour. And they'll probably say, yes, I can put it on hold for you to closing. Yeah, and if they don't have it, can you order it for me? Of course I can. Okay, let's see what's on the shelves this week. From BW Holland for Call of Cthulhu, we have a solo 1990s Beyond the Signal Range called Alone Against the Static, which I guess is a $30 hardcover Call of Cthulhu adventure where you prowl around the Dakota Black Hills in the 1990s, and you play a pre-generated character, and then you travel around to do things that are Cthulhu-based. Well, if you get a pre-generated character and it's a solo roleplay, it feels like more like it's just a choose-your-own adventure than a game. I don't know. There's this weird nebulous limbo where these solo play games exist, whether they're, choose your own adventure games, full-on role-playing games, board games, just journaling exercises. I don't know. But apparently people enjoy them. And I guess it's, more and more of us are by ourselves, not gaming, because the idea of getting together in a group to a game seems to be alien to most people now, or playing online. That could explain why solo games are becoming much more popular. From Limithron, Limithron, we have a bestiary for Pirate Guide, and we have the Guide to Naval Combat. So this is for Pirate Borg. Pirate Borg Bestiary of over 75 grimdark pirate-themed creatures from Pirate Borg, but also includes 5e stats for them, even though every one of these is already in 5e. Ghosts, zombies, skeletons, musters, sirens, captains, birds, beasts, blasts, fish, sharks, whales, and random aquatic adventure generating start. So you've taken... all these exist in 5e already, but all right. Limithron's Guide to Naval Combat is $20, and it provides rules for naval combat in a D&D type setting. Choose your boat, tack into the wind, and do some pirating or cannoning or large fleet sailing. Rules supplement for naval combat in 5e, and a bestiary of monsters from Pirate Borg converted to 5e for $14. Even though most of these monsters were 5e monsters that were converted to Pirate Borg, now you're converting them back to 5e. Hey, here's the stats for Seagull. From DM Dave, we have Dungeon Layers 1 and Dungeons and Layers 2. Dungeons and Layers 1 is Forest of Peril. It's $21. Dungeon and Lairs 2 is Shores of Silver, $21. It's 5 adventurers, 3 settlements, new monsters, all built around the theme. So Shores of Silver is a coastal campaign with seaside locations. You know how I love those. And Forest of Peril is a complete campaign setting where you're in a land of ancient trees, hidden groves, and all sorts of dangerous foresty, druidic type stuff. Pirates, dinosaurs, From Biteside Gaming, we have Oceanic Depths for D&D 5e for $15. It's a more aquatic themed magic, races, monsters, magic items, villains, islands, haunted dinosaur pirate island with aliens. I just love haunted. I love Dinosaur Pirate Island. So I'm always going to be like, yes. I love you, Isle of Dread. I love you, Tomb of Annihilation. More from Limtherian for Pirate Borg. We have Buried in the Bahamas for $16. The Battle of Dead Man Cove for $6. And the Dead Man's Cove for... Wait, no, what? Buried in the Bahamas, Battle of Dead Man's Cove, and The Sinking of Carthang, which is $9. Buried in the Bahamas is an introductory adventure set in a dark Caribbean for Pirate Borg. Battle for Dead Man Cove is a pamphlet adventure covering small, neat fleet naval combat using the combat rules in Pirate Borg, including sets of stats for different ships. And The Sinking of Carthang is a damned and blasphemous city that has been regurgitated from the depths of the ocean, and now you have to go explore it. Filled with both human and non-human and ocean-based nightmares. So a lot of ocean-based pirate stuff going on with these guys, which I love, and it's for Pirate Borg. From Exalted Funeral, we have Dyson's Book of Swords. $15 for the main book, and it comes with 3 additional mini books. It's a compilation of all the swords that have been made on Dyson's logos, dating back all the way to September, it looks like, of 2021. Each sword gets a page and rules for the descriptions of the page of the sword and what the sword does. From Spicy Tuna, we have A Butterfly Dies. This is a $15 soft cover adventure for general OSR, OGL type stuff. You are traveling across the oatmeal forest. Perhaps you are members of a cult, or perhaps you are here to stop the cult. Either way, you must go through the Mexican myth-inspired forest and deal with a cult who worship giant butterflies, who may or may not be evil, and defend the world from monsters, but, aren't Mothra, because it's inspired by Mexican artwork, not Japanese. Yes, so forest, pixies, Mexican mythology, giant moths that might be dangerous. Mothra. And finally, from Arcdring Publishing for Delta Green, we have for $20, Presence. Delta Green is sending out player characters to learn how and why somebody has teleported from one place and reappeared in another place. And while you're doing it, you have to deal with the strange neighbors who live in the place where the new person has appeared out of nowhere, featuring revelations, terrible awakenings, and of course, because it is Delta Green, some Lovecraftian horror. And that's it. That's it for this week. Let's see what stands out to me. Well, I do love Pirate Jungle, Dinosaur Island, but I don't know. None of these really stand out to me. We just seem to have 2 themes this week. Lovecraft, pirate, sword. I don't know what Butterfly Dies is. I'm going to say Lovecraft and Lovecraft. A cult of people who worship a giant butterfly that may or may not be horrible. Yeah, that sounds pretty Lovecraftian. So Lovecraft pirates, I guess, is the theme this week. If any of those sound like something you want to pick up, head on over to your friendly local game store and tell them the OGGM sent you. That is, if you happen to have a friendly local game store where you live. And conveniently, that friendly local game store decides to actively support tabletop role-playing game in some form. Unless you live here where I live in Ventura, where it's raining, where we have like 6 friendly local game stores, none of which actively support tabletop role-playing, which is probably why I haven't gamed in real life for a year. But I'm not bitter. Have a great day. Stay safe. It's raining, so I'll talk to y'all later. Unless, of course, I have to leave my house because of the floods.